And we're back on the Sex and Money Show today, Wednesday, the 22nd of January, a beautiful day in Las Vegas, unless you're having to traverse the byways and highways. Sounds like it's a little tough out there. But we have a very special guest for you today. I'd like to welcome to the Sex and Money Show, Sophia in Sapphire. Sophia, welcome to the Sex and Money Show.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, delighted that you're in here. My goodness, this makes 2 Wednesdays in a row. We've had our studio filled with beautiful young ladies, huh?
Oh, thanks.
Got to like that, huh, Bob?
Al, I got to go take a cold shower after that traffic update, so
Yes.
I'll be back in about 10 minutes.
We certainly do. About 10. That's all it's going to take, 10 minutes?
We actually tend to cause more accidents than we prevent.
Yeah,
gonna say, really.
I think you're right. So, Sophia in Sapphire. Now, Sophia, I love your last name. It's just, I can't pronounce it. Would you say your last name for me?
Konstantinovna.
Okay, I'm just going to call you Sophia in Sapphire.
That
if you don't.
sounds good.
All right. Now, Sophia, you are a competitive dancer. You are a dance instructor, a dance coach, and we're going to get into some of the specifics here in a little bit. But I mean, a competitive dancer, that's awesome.
Yeah, it takes a lot out of you, but it's quite exciting. It's what gives me the passion to do what I do.
And I'm just guessing over the last several years that Dancing with the Stars has been on TV. Has that really kind of rejuvenated interest in ballroom dancing?
Well, it captivates people, but it doesn't necessarily give people a reason to dance.
Really? So what reason do people generally have to want to get out there and dance?
Well, one of them is if you're getting married.
Oh,
That's a good
yeah,
one.
yeah. Okay, that's
Okay.
that's true. I suppose you can't really get out of that reception unless you do that first dance, then the mother-daughter or the mother-son and father-daughter dance, right?
It's true. Aside from that, though, there are other benefits, like especially social life or exercise or reconnecting with another human being, a special someone.
Ooh, I like the sounds of that because, I mean, let's be honest, it is a physical activity, isn't it?
Yeah, and in the modern world, we're kind of out of touch with other people. We don't even touch that much anymore.
That's true. Now, one of your specialties, as I understand, is focused around the wedding arena and that first dance.
That's true. It's one of the most memorable parts of a wedding
Well,
ceremony.
it certainly is. And, I mean, it's probably the one that's most photographed and
That's
most
right.
videotaped. And, I mean, we've seen some really unique things on like YouTube. I remember there's a couple of dance sensations that hit YouTube with millions and millions of views. So, I mean, what do you remember the one I'm talking about?
Well, there's quite a few, so I might have seen it.
You probably have. So now, when somebody's going to get married, I mean, they usually plan this, years, months at least, if not years in advance. So you probably have an opportunity to get with them a long time before the first dance and work with them. Is that right?
That's right. And actually, the best time to start is probably 3 to 6 months before the wedding.
Really?
And
3 to 6 months out?
Well, it takes, muscle memory. You never want to jump into something and overnight think that you got it.
True.
Nobody's used to moving around on the dance floor confidently, so it takes some practice.
Well, remember that, Bob.
I'm taking notes right here.
Yeah, you're taking notes?
I got to jump in on the contact of the dancing. This thing that Miley Cyrus does, what would you call that other than twerking?
Other than embarrassing.
Yeah, I think I agree with the latter.
Okay.
I hear that actually twerking came from a classic German ballet move. That's where it came from.
Is that true?
That is true.
No, you're making that up. Len's making that up.
Google it. Yeah, Google it. Twerking came from a classic German ballet move.
This
And
is
they did
very
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think we've lost something? Because years ago, like my parents, in their 40s, in the 1940s and 50s, they learned how to jitterbug and foxtrot and do all stuff like that. Then in the 60s, Cultural Revolution came in and people just never learned dance steps. Did we lose something there?
I do think so. I mean, dance naturally releases an endorphin surge. It makes people feel good. They reconnect, they listen to the music. It's visually stimulating, it's beautiful, and you're dancing with another human being. And the thing is, dance has been around for it's a ritualistic...
Forever, right?
Yeah, it's a hobby of everyone since the beginning of time. And the thing is, as we
Cavemen
progress...
used to dance,
around the fire.
Yeah, they used to
Yeah,
jump
so
up
I
and
would
down.
say its significance is really large, and we're just getting so out of touch.
I'm going to jump in real quick from what Len just said. My folks met. My dad was a ballroom dance instructor back in Holland in the early 50s, and my mom was a student of his. And they met. He was instructing, and 5 months later, there I was, born and
5 months later, there you were.
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah,
think she
dance
knew.
moves
I
sped
think
things
she
up a little
apparently
bit.
knew him before she came in for
All
dance
right,
lessons.
well, the math might be a little sketchy. But that's how they met, back in the same kind of thing, social type
No
of thing.
kidding.
Yeah, cool.
So, in teaching dance, not necessarily primarily, but you have a big focus on teaching the wedding couple, the married couple, to get ready for that dance. Tell us what some of the big benefits of taking wedding dance lessons from you would be.
Well, one thing I focus on is making dance not a one-time thing. I mean, the first dance is one of the biggest and first opportunities for you to be on the dance floor, but I try to take an angle of applying it to regular real-life situations. What you learn with Sophia and Sapphire is not only to dance for your first wedding dance, but how do you dip? How do you do a regular twirl in real life? And making sure that what you do invest in your dancing lessons before the wedding stays with you.
So I noticed that you have written an article here in the Perfect Wedding Guide, the winter edition, 2014, the Perfect Wedding Guide for Las Vegas. And you indicate in there that one of the top 5 benefits of wedding dance lessons is to de-stress before your wedding, to laugh at yourself and be able to have fun. What does that mean?
Well, planning for a wedding is one of the most stressful things. There's so much to do. There's deadlines. There's running around. And a lot of times we get disconnected from our partner and we don't have a date night. So what I like to encourage my couples is to take a breather, to make a date night. Come in and, take on the challenge of dance, laugh at each other, create a hobby to share.
So about... you're going to give, about 10 or 12 dance lessons? I mean, ideally before the wedding night?
Right. So ideally around 10 is a good number. The thing is, I make sure that the wedding dance is tailored to the personality. Sometimes it's crazy. Sometimes it's traditional, hip, or whatever. We've had even including father-daughters or mother-sons, or maybe even the entire bridal party. So it really depends on the plan and the vision, so we definitely figure that out and take it from there.
Now, is this something that we're going to do like once a week for 10 weeks prior to, or are we going to do it 2 times a week for 5 weeks, or what's the typical schedule?
Well, so that, again, depends on the vision and how complicated the dance is. The more often you do it in the beginning, the better, because then you kind of get the muscle memory and you could taper off. So I'd recommend when you start dancing lessons, if you could do a couple times a week, that's great. And then taper off as you get closer to the wedding. You don't have to stress about it. You feel good. And
then maybe practice on your own.
That's it.
At your home, your apartment, whatever.
Practice is very important.
Absolutely.
After all that time you spend with a couple and getting ready, do they invite you to the wedding? Do you get to go and watch the fruit of your labor?
I've got invited quite a few times. A lot of times the weddings are destination weddings. They're not even around. But I do get to see video footage, and that's always very warm and fuzzy.
I can imagine. Now, you also in your article say that, your dance partners for life. Get at least a basic dip under your belt. Figure out how to do some of these basic things, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's timeless. It feels so good to be on the floor, to dip and look amazing.
So, I've been called a dip before, but never.
You've got 2 left feet, Al. Let's just call it what it is.
I have 1.5 left feet. Not even 2.
Okay, so are there people that just don't have rhythm? There's just no way they're going to be able to dance.
There are people that don't have rhythm, but they still.
Thanks for
Other than Al.
Thanks for not looking directly at me when you say that.
They still look good because there are tricks. There are tricks to looking good on the floor, and
Such
that's
as?
kind of,
Yes, please.
Well, there's strategies. So one trick is you don't stop moving. When in doubt, you march it out. You keep
kind of the Elaine Bennis philosophy of dance, right?
And when you're on parole too, it sort of ties in.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so
fake
just keep
it,
moving. Fake it till you make it. I like that.
It's just being confident. It's enjoying.
It's just enjoying yourself out there, and then gain confidence and impress them all, and also get your exercise in.
That's true. Well,
and once again, I saw you looking directly at me when you said that comment.
Oh, I did.
How about get your exercise in? Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
Oh, I'm kidding.
We're taping.
We'll get you twerking in just a couple of days.
Yeah, I'll be twerking in no time. But it is a great exercise, isn't it?
It is a great exercise, and it's fun. A lot of times, it's a tedious thing to do, but when you're connecting and laughing, you don't even notice.
Absolutely. So why don't you tell everybody where they could find you on the World Wide Web before we go to our commercial break?
So I I'm located at sophiainsapphire.com. Now, the Sapphire does have 2 P's.
So that's SophiaInSapphire.com.
That's right.
Right here in beautiful Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We have to go to our 12:30 commercial break. Will you be able to stick with us and come back the next quarter hour?
Definitely.
Very good. We'll have more with Sophia and Sapphire here on the Sex and Money Show, KLAV AM 1230. Back in a moment. Sophia and Sapphire. Let's bring the class back into this show, shall we? Sophia and Sapphire, thank you once again for being on the Sex and Money Show.
Thank you so much.
Now, Sophia, you moved here to Las Vegas from the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area of California. Is that where you were born?
Yes, I am from the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay, so born over there and grew up in that area. And I understand that you did a little bit of world traveling a little earlier in life. Is that right?
That's right, a few years back.
With the Peace Corps, nonetheless.
Yes.
I mean, I've always, dreamt of doing that, but never really had the guts to say, sign me up. I mean, that had to be a major decision in your life.
It is a major decision and commitment. It's almost 2.5 years.
Wow. And where did you serve?
So I served in Ukraine in a village called Pachayev, and I lived in a tiny village, dirt roads with a goat for 2.5
so
Yeah,
you
that's
lived
right
with
up your alley.
Yeah, it is.
Go,
In
it's a
fact,
dirt road.
I actually played the part of a goat several years ago. Maybe that's where I've seen you before.
Maybe.
So what did you do there? Did you teach the villagers dance or what?
Well, a lot of grassroots projects. I was a English teacher and I had, a dance club there. I also revitalized some art projects and so many things that seemed impossible, but you just throw yourself at the opportunities and try to make something out of nothing.
No kidding. I mean, I can't even imagine, having grown up in the United States and then just making a commitment. I'm going to go to someplace in a foreign country with a language that I don't necessarily